Kit and his wife, Jenny, have 2 children, 15-year-old Phoebe, who you just met, and Beckett, an 11-year-old catcher who fully expects to bring the Nats a World Series championship. Other than family and work life, Kit runs a small research-based consulting firm. His main hobbies include racquetball, grilling, driving unusual vehicles, and dreaming about summer vacation.
Thank you, Jen. Summer vacation. You plan it, you dream about it, save for it, and then you savor every moment of it. It was the 3rd week of August 2006. We were enjoying a well-deserved respite, a week of family time, relaxation, at our favorite place. Except there were extenuating circumstances. An obnoxious drunk was screaming at his wife and children, and it wasn't in the house next door. It was in our little Shangri-La for the week. Someone was experiencing some anger management issues. But I attributed my sudden outburst of rage to my role as a small business owner. Maybe I just didn't delegate so well. My wife and family, maybe they just didn't fully appreciate all that I was responsible for. They didn't listen when I told them to stay at the beach so I could work. And later, they just couldn't hang out by the pool while I was on a conference call. When they knocked on the door, I lost it. I was disconnected to reality. I had no observer. I tried to calm myself down by having a beer or 7. And then I thought maybe I'd lighten the mood by offering my 2-year-old son a slug of Yingling. He gladly accepted, and we laughed, and we did it again. Our au pair watched, horrified. She confronted me carefully, politely. "You know," she said cautiously, "I've read that any amount of alcohol could cause brain injury in young children." I overreacted, but it was like an out-of-body experience in which I became a different person. I was on autopilot. I was possessed. "You are forgetting your place, Miss Au Pair. I am the father here. I make the rules. I pay you. How dare you tell me how to parent?" It was loud. It was violent. It was inescapable. My wife to this day describes witnessing something snap in me. I was erratic, seething, vengeful, hateful, and it came out of left field. She feared for her family's safety. And it continued. Amidst the protests from that au pair, cries from my 6-year-old daughter, Phoebe, whom you just met, and the terror and confusion in the eyes of my 2-year-old son, there was my wife, looking on in shock and horror, but her sad eyes were resolute, steadfast, and resigned. She'd already made up her mind. It was day 3 of our summer vacation, and it would be our last. Bullshit. We paid for this house. We are staying, and we will enjoy it. No. You are staying, and you are welcome to enjoy it. We are leaving, and we most certainly will not enjoy that. But you leave us no other choice. We are simply not safe here. After they left, it took me days to realize that it wasn't their fault, to realize exactly what I had done. All I understood was that I'd suddenly, somehow, involuntarily chosen a whole new path in life. We were officially separated. And after that manic episode, depression set in. Having no label yet, I had no idea where to turn. My family practitioner prescribed an antidepressant and a psychiatrist. The preliminary diagnosis, bipolar disorder, type 2. But I met it all with denial. Surely the next diagnosis, the next evaluation would reveal that I'm maybe just a little impatient sometimes. Maybe I drank too much. I tended to fly off the handle occasionally, and sometimes maybe I was a little depressed, but that had always been a part of my personality. So I told no one. I was ashamed. I was an obvious failure as a husband, a failure as a father. Eventually, I called a few hotlines seeking help, but they were wrong numbers, disconnected lines, voicemails, and useless, inexperienced crisis counselors. I felt confused, frustrated, and frankly disappointed with the psychiatrists that were responsible for prescribing meds. So, how are you today? Would you like to alter your medication in some way? Which medication would you like to try? It seemed ludicrous to me. Well, it's been almost 10 years since then. The subject of a mental health disability is still completely taboo within many groups and in the workplace. Healthcare options are generally pretty abysmal or extremely expensive, and finding the right balance of the right meds is always a struggle. I think it'll take many, many more groups of people like you to help bring about acceptance and funding and change. And as for me, I've made progress in some areas: better doctors, better meds, acceptance of the label and the stigma. My manic episodes are less frequent and thankfully less rageful. And we've gotten better as a family at coping, healing, figuring out next steps, and most importantly, continuing to work. And as for that vacation spot, it took years, but we did return to the scene. We ceremoniously burned a picture of that house, and we had a little discussion, and we cried. And then we moved along. And as a matter of fact, we bought a house there at that same beach, only about a mile away. And once again, we can look forward to going back. Thank you. Sorry, one more little thing. Thank you for the applause. I got permission, don't worry. I thought of this during rehearsal yesterday. Being brave is being here. And it's about sharing, our stories of mental illness. But being brave is also about making the right decisions along the way, after our initial episodes, that led us here on stage in a relatively stable state. In other words, we have sought help from doctors or psychiatrists or therapists, or we just plain took our meds, or we acknowledged that we needed help, or we worked hard to improve ourselves. And truthfully, I am really not sure that I would have made all those responsible decisions. I'm not sure that I would have acknowledged my needs for help and for effort were it not for my best friend and confidant and my wife, Jenny. Thank you for being brave. I love you. You made a lot of tough decisions along the way, and you were brave with me and for that I thank you.